He's a great writer. He has written a lot of books. You can check it online, and it's worth reading because it's all practical experiences, practicing it and teaching it and keeping it in a book form. So we all should learn from it. It's a great effort, life's worth. What are the workshops you're hosting? I know I came for Global Earth ecosystem restoration workshops, and I heard a lot of good feedback for the permaculture designs. A lot of your students have started training other people and in different countries. That is very impressive. So what are the different workshops?
Well, permaculture design is one of my biggest
berries
things
with some fruit trees mixed in it with. No, you wouldn't have a tall fruit tree on yourself, anything tall on yourself, because you want it to be a sun trap. So you want to leave it open to the south. You have to, depending on what was happening with the neighbors. So that your tallest trees, as we saw in the Martin Crawford's film last night, the tallest trees are in the back, and you might make a particularly. This will be this exposure. The southwest facing slopes are always the warmest. The southeast facing so this is right west east. I know this will be north. Right? Okay. So
I want to know everything when it's little, when it's big, all ages of its growth, all stages of the year. It's a dried up, withered stem, and I want to know what that was. What's that dried up, withered stem? And I want to know all the uses of the plant, modern and traditional, what the traditional peoples used it for, and that's part of what your journey in life is. To how much can you learn about what's around you, so that you are family with it in a way, and you know it. And so part of permaculture is observation, or it's part of life actually. You should be observing. Be observant is a lot. But the yellow flowers, you pull those yellow flowers out and you put it in olive oil or some oil, and you make it ear oil, earache oil. It's one of the most common uses for earache you'll see is that mullein flower oil, oftentimes infused with garlic, and there's a couple other things.
Just drop it in your ear?
And you just drop the oil in your ear. Yeah, you might warm it up a little bit. So warm up that little bit of ear oil. And so that's an ear remedy. And the root is a medicinal too. Of course, the nice live root when it's growing. So we got 3 medicines and torches and what sticks? The fire stick?
I didn't know that what is wild crafting when you said. So now I understood because I came here and spending time with you. So wild crafting is like going to the forestry, any forest, and then see the herbs or any invasive plants, and you pull it up and then you make it as a herb where you can sell as a herb, so people can benefit out of it. It's a rare plants, so that is what wild crafting is all about.
And in India, a lot of people used to wildcraft, and many still do. Mostly the tribals. It's generally in any culture the poorest people that do the wildcrafting. The peasants, the small farmers, landless peasants, people that rely on what they can find in the woods, and it's for food, for herbs, for crafts, for making a cordage. There's so many things you can wildcraft, and so we need to not just take from the wild. We need to do restoration so that there's more and more things to wildcraft instead of less and less. So sustainability is very important when it comes to the wildcrafting. We don't want to hurt the resource unless, of course, it's a non-native invasive plant. I harvest a lot of invasive plants and then sell them for medicinal plants. So sometimes you can do restoration while you're wildcrafting.
Here we are in the wilds of northeast Washington, and a Mahonia aquifolium, or Oregon grape patch, tall Oregon grape. And I just thought I'd show you how I do wildcrafting of this particular medicinal. there's two ways, but the way I do most of my Oregon grape is I look for volunteers. And so you can see there, I'm surrounded by Oregon grape here, and I'm looking for volunteers. So I'll pull one, and I'll pull, it's like, oh, here's one that's willing to volunteer. So I pull it, keep moving it further back towards the ground, and at one point it'll break off. And so here's our root, here's some stem, and I'll be, when it comes time to cutting this up, I'll go part way up the stem and cut it into my bag into smallish bits, usually 4-6 inches. Pilarski's Pulaski. And I can use this to get some out of the ground. I just worked up this area right here. See, this is actually just been worked up. So I can just go a little further here, and there'll be a map. Show you what it looks like. Underneath the ground is this tangle of roots. And so I'll just clean that out. The network of roots expands into the soil all these different directions. So whatever we leave behind is just going to resprout. So this whole area. So here I am with my pile, cutting it up into my burlap bag because I'm out in the woods here and I got to carry it home. And it's real easy to tell you got the right kind of root because it's got all this yellow, this gold color there. See, so that's and if you keep scraping, it's fine to get into some kind of less yellow wood. But this you can see here, it's kind of way lighter wood inside, it's bright yellow all the way through to the core. So the whole thing is used. The cambium is where, of course, the highest concentration is.